In the heart of Israel's Negev Desert, where water can feel more valuable than gold, and even a small patch of green seems almost impossible, something extraordinary has happened. Across a landscape of cracked earth, stone, dust, and relentless sunlight, tiny buds have appeared on the branches of cherry trees, not in Europe, not in a cold mountain valley, and not in a place naturally suited for growing cherries, but here, in one of the driest regions of Israel. Delicate white and pink blossoms now move gently in the desert wind, and behind their beauty lies a story shaped by loss, love, patience, and the stubborn belief that impossible things can still become real. Before we continue, take a moment to look at this contrast. Dry brown earth below, soft flowers above. If this image surprises you, let us know in the comments whether you ever believed cherry trees could bloom in the middle of a desert. The Negev covers a vast area in southern Israel and is known for its harsh climate, low rainfall, intense heat, and endless stretches of rock and sand. In such conditions, simply keeping an ordinary plant alive can be difficult. Cherry trees, however, are even more demanding. They are usually associated with cooler regions and specific seasonal conditions that help them grow, flower, and produce fruit. In Israel, cherries are more commonly grown in colder areas, such as the Golan Heights, where the climate is much closer to what these trees naturally need. That is why the idea of planting cherry trees in the Negev once sounded less like a serious agricultural plan and more like a gamble destined to fail. But this project did not begin as a business opportunity. It began with grief. Liel was only 13 years old when his life ended in a car accident in the Negev. His death left a space in his family that nothing could truly fill. His grandfather, Pini El-Makayes, wanted to create something meaningful in his memory. He did not want Liel to be remembered only through a photograph or a name spoken quietly inside a grieving home. He wanted his grandson's memory to remain alive, to grow, and one day, to bloom. From that desire, the first cherry trees were planted in the dry soil of the desert. Every young tree carried more than roots and branches. Each one carried a piece of memory, a piece of hope, and a promise that Liel's story would continue in a different form. Pini worked together with the Ramat HaNegev Regional Council to begin the project, but from the start, very few people believed it would succeed. Cherry trees need suitable conditions to enter their growth cycle, produce blossoms, complete pollination, and eventually form fruit. The Negev offered the opposite of what many people thought they required: heat, scarce water, poor soil, and severe environmental stress. Looking at those small trees standing in the open desert, many believed they would die before producing even a single flower. But for Pini, this was never just an agricultural experiment. Every tree represented his grandson. As long as the trees remained alive, Liel's memory remained alive with them. And so, he refused to stop. If you have ever continued working on something even when other people told you it was pointless, share this video with someone who needs that reminder today. More than 4 years passed. 4 years of testing, waiting, adjusting, and facing disappointment. Not every tree responded as expected. There was no guarantee that the garden would ever bloom, and there was certainly no promise that it would produce fruit. Researchers and caretakers had to observe every detail: the condition of the soil, the temperature, the development of the roots, the appearance of each leaf, the strength of every new shoot, and the amount of water delivered into the ground. In the desert, a small mistake can decide whether a tree survives or disappears. From the outside, the project may have looked like a foolish dream, but the people walking between those rows of trees saw something others could not yet see. They saw possibility. Most people only believe after results appear. Before that moment, they doubt, criticize, and laugh. But if Pini had listened to them, if he had been weak enough to give up before the first sign of success, this garden would have died long before it had the chance to bloom. Then, in early May of 2022, the moment they had been waiting for finally arrived. On branches that many believed could never survive, the first buds began to open. Slowly, thin, white, and pink petals unfolded against the yellow and brown background of the desert. cherry blossoms had appeared in the Negev. For the researchers, this was an important sign that the trees had adapted well enough to complete a critical part of their natural cycle. For Pini, the moment meant far more. It was as if Liel's memory had finally bloomed. After more than 4 years of silence, the desert had answered. The flowers could not erase the pain of losing a child, but they transformed that pain into something living, something visible, and something capable of bringing hope to others. The blossoms, however, were not the final result. After the petals fell, tiny green fruit began to form. Slowly, they grew and changed color until bright red cherries appeared among the leaves. The first cherries had grown in the middle of the Negev Desert. This was clear proof that the project was no longer only an idea or a symbolic memorial. A tree once considered unsuitable for this land had taken root, flowered, and produced fruit. Still, one successful season does not mean that every challenge has been solved. Researchers must continue to study growth patterns, fruit quality, water use, maintenance costs, and long-term stability. But regardless of what happens next, an old boundary has already been broken. From a memorial garden created for one boy, the project has begun to open a new direction for agricultural research in Ramat HaNegev. Scientists and growers continue testing different methods, examining roots, monitoring soil, measuring temperature, and studying the tree's ability to tolerate heat. Their goal is not simply to keep a few trees alive. They want to discover whether cherry trees can grow consistently, produce high-quality fruit, and perhaps one day become part of a realistic agricultural model for the region. If these experiments continue to succeed, the benefits could extend far beyond one garden. Local farmers may gain access to a high-value crop. Visitors may travel to the desert to see cherry blossoms surrounded by sand and stone. New jobs, tourism opportunities, and community development could follow. What began as one grandfather's personal act of remembrance could eventually create value for an entire region. If you want to see more stories where human determination and technology challenge the limits of nature, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next documentary. Today, the cherry gardens of the Negev are still part of an ongoing experiment, but the first flowers have already changed what people believe is possible. One day, more green rows may appear across this dry land. A place once considered unsuitable for cherries may become home to orchards filled with blossoms and fruit. These gardens may produce more than cherries. They may create knowledge, jobs, tourism, and a new sense of hope. Pini Elmakais could not bring his grandson back, but he created a place where Liel's memory could continue to live. Each season of flowers tells the boy's story again. Each new fruit transforms an old wound into something meaningful, and perhaps that is the deepest lesson hidden in this desert garden. For a barren land to bloom, water, soil, and technology are important, but sometimes the most powerful force is love, strong enough to refuse surrender. So now, the question is yours. Do you believe the Negev could one day become a land of thriving cherry orchards? Leave your answer in the comments. And remember this story the next time someone tells you that your goal is impossible.